Everybody, today we are going to be doing our own nails. What we're going to be doing is a dip powder manicure. At the moment you could tell that my nails are in pretty rough shape, and what I wanted to do was the full manicure process with you from start to finish. Today we will be using SNS dip system, and we will be using tips to put on our nails to extend the length. The items that we're going to be needing today will be as follows. I have a bowl of warm, gentle soapy water in a bowl to soak my fingers before I trim my cuticles. Then I'm going to be needing a file. A thick square file would be best. A buffing file. It's just a square file. I have 3 colors that I'm going to be using today. We're going to be doing 2 tones of pink and 1 glitter color. This is our glitter color right here. This is our lighter pink shade here. And this is our more pronounced pink shade here. You will also need a cuticle stick, a pair of nail clippers. I use this as well. This trims down the tips once they're on. I don't know the exact term for it. I have a smaller metal file. I have a metal cuticle stick. And I also have professional grade cuticle clippers. I also will need nail glue, our tips that we will put on. There are 2 tones in here, but we will be using the clear shade. And then our SNS dipping system, which will consist of the EA bond, the super dry sealer, the gellus base, and the gel top. First step, soak your nails in the bowl with the warm soapy water and get your cuticles softened. You can add cuticle softener serum inside of the water to help the process along. Next, we want to take our cuticle stick and we want to push our cuticles back on each finger. I don't know about you, but my cuticles tend to grow a lot faster than normal, and I've even had nail technicians in the past tell me that. Quite embarrassing, but I digress. Next, we want to take just a little cotton pad and kind of just wipe the bubbles off so we can see what we're doing, just gently. And then we will take our cuticle trimmers and we will begin by going the side of the nail gently and slowly and just slightly pulling as we go along. On each finger. Now that your cuticles are trimmed, just go ahead and wipe them off with some antiseptic or alcohol. Just make sure that everything looks how you want it to look. The cleaner your cuticles are, the better the process is. Now that the cuticles are finished, we will go in with some nail clippers and we will trim off a little bit of your nail to make them even. You do not need to trim them super short, just make sure that they are even and they will not peek out past the nail that you put on. Great. Now that your fingers are trimmed, your cuticles are trimmed, we can start getting ready for the nail application process. Now we went ahead and got the tips that looked like they fit the best. I trimmed one of them. Now we will start the application process on our fingers. So first I'm going to need my nail glue. And what you want to do is you want just a small dot on each finger. Press the nail on. When the nail presses on, the glue will work its way along the remainder of the nail. And hold for approximately 10 seconds firmly. And the nail should be on. And repeat for each fingernail. Now that we have our tips on, we will then take our trimmer and we will trim our tips to the desired length. I do not like my nails super long, but I also want to make sure that I keep them long enough to where I can file them to the shape I want. Okay. So the shape that I'm looking for is going to be kind of oval shape. However, I kind of want to try something different. Typically I do a round or I do a square, but this time I kind of want to do something, you know, a little more edgier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nail trimmers and I'm going to come in at an angle here. And I'm going to trim off the sides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of taper them a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to take my file and get them straight enough. Now that we have the desired length and shape of our nail, we want to make sure that we go in and rough up the top of our nail. We want to make sure that the tips are even with our fingernail so that there are no indents when we are dipping. So you can just either grab a block and go in and buff that out, but to make the process go a little smoother, you kind of want something a little coarser, especially for the tip itself. So just roughing up the top of it, not too much. Also make sure that you're roughing up your nail a bit. This will make the gel go on this will make the dip go on smoother. You do not want to see any shiny parts of the nail. Thankfully, the nails that I am using, which are design nail, which you can find on Amazon, are not only very affordable, but they act and look as a real nail once you get them on. Make sure not to go too deep into the buffing process because you could ruin your nail bed, and we do not want you to do that. This is just roughing the surface. Now that we've roughed the surface of our nails, we're going to go ahead and put on our EA Bond from S&S. This is going to help the dip bond to our nails. It's a very liquid formula, so only a little dab will do ya. We're going to let that dry for just a bit, and then we will figure out the color process. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting the darker color on the outer fingers, doing these two middle fingers with a lighter shade, and then doing the glitter on the ring finger here. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and start with our gel base on our thumb. And we want to make sure that we start 3/4 of the way up, not all the way up to our cuticle, but 3/4 of the way all around the nail. And we kind of just want to taper. Okay, then we're going to dip our finger in, tap off the excess, and there you go. We will go ahead and do the 2 middle fingers next with the lighter shape. So we will start 3/4 of the way up and taper. Dip in, tap off. There we go. Second of that color, same deal. And this is the Green Top Gel Base SNS dipping system. Alright, now that all fingers have been dipped and dried just a little bit, I'm just going to take a brush and just brush off the excess that is remaining on the fingers so that we can get a clear idea of what they look like. So we're going 2 tones of pink and a glitter. Looks pretty cute. Now I'm just going to do the second coat on all of the fingers. Now that all of my dipping is done, I just went ahead and did one last run through of the brush to get all of the excess powder off, and now I'm going in with my super dry sealer, and I'm just going to seal all of the coating into the nail. I did actually go through with an extra coat, so I ended up doing 3 just for good measure. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and let our sealer dry, and then we can start the buffing process. Starts the buffing process. I use one of these, and then that's when I will go in with this guy. This is a more precise file, and you will get the tapered lines that you desire. And it's a microfiler, so it's not going to file too much at one time. But just for shaping, just go ahead and define that shape with this file. Now that we've gone through and we have done our final shaping with the filer, we're just going in with our big block filer, and we're just buffing down, making them smooth, making them even. If you find you have areas that are a little thicker in some places, go in with the thicker file it down, and then go back in and smooth it over with the big block filer. This is just where you're going to be perfecting your manicure and making it look as cute as you possibly can before you put that top coat on. You want to make sure that you get all of the gritty surface off, and that you just leave with smooth, silky top nails that you just run your finger down, no imperfections, no impurities, and you're just finalizing the look. Before going into your final step, you just want to spray your fingers off with just some water, no soap, and give them a nice wipe to get all of the excess filings off, so that we can prepare your nails for the last and final coat. Okay, now we want to go ahead and get our gel top coat, and once these are dry, we're just going to start putting the top coat on. You want to do 2 coats. After your first coat, you just want to make sure that you give it time to kind of sink in and dry. You do not want to overdo this process or rush this process, as this is what you're going to see the final finish. Okay, so just your gel top coat on every nail. Make sure that you get every inch of your nail. And this is when you're going to see that glitter really start to pop. Now we'll go in with our final coat. It's been about 3 minutes, and we're just going to seal it all together. This is really my favorite step because this is when it really starts to look like a nice clean manicure. Aside from the final hand washing and a little cuticle oil. Okay guys, let this dry and then go back in with some cuticle oil after you wash your hands and you have a final manicure. I'll come back and give you the final look with both hands. Okay guys, we're just gonna go ahead and put some oil on our cuticles. This is our last step. Both nails are finished. And we're done. Our manicure is complete. Thank you for tuning in. Ta-da!